Hi guys, today I'm going to be talking about Disney stock and specifically about their dividend. Earlier this year, Disney scrapped their dividend because of the current crisis. And I'm going to be talking in this video why that dividend might not be coming back, but also why that might potentially be a great thing for Disney stock if they would keep it scrapped. I got a small clip for you guys prepared to explain the situation.
Disney shares moving higher as an activist investor takes new aim. Third Point Capital's Dan Loeb calling for the media giant to end its $3 billion annual dividend and to use those funds to create more Disney Plus content. Loeb writing a letter to Disney CEO Bob Chapek saying the ability to drive subscriber growth, reduce churn, and increase pricing present the opportunity to create tens of billions of dollars in incremental value for Disney shareholders in short order and hundreds of billions once the platform reaches larger scale.
So guys, what does this mean for Disney then? So I'm gonna just go through exactly what the letter said. And I'm gonna go do that with this specific article here. So Investor Dan Loeb calls on Disney to halt dividend and double streaming budget. Basically, what he is saying is that Disney Plus is the opportunity that Disney has been waiting for. The growth in the last year has been astronomical. Basically, they grew to 60 million subscribers in their first year alone. That was their 5-year projection that they would be able to achieve that. So they're growing at a very, very rapid pace right now. And what he is saying is that basically Disney is not creating enough content. And they're not creating enough content because they're not spending enough for that on a yearly basis. For example, right now, Netflix is spending about $18 billion on creating content for their streaming service, whereas Disney is only saying that they're going to invest $1 billion. And what Dan Loeb is basically saying is that the $3 billion that they're spending right now on dividends a year should be reallocated towards investing into the streaming side of their business so that they can generate higher growth from that and create more content. And there's a very interesting piece that I want to show you about that right now and why that is important.
100% agree with everything Loeb argued for in that letter. We really think that's what Disney needs to do. If they want to become Netflix, they've got to pivot their business dramatically faster than they are right now. They're just doing this in an incremental step function rather than just going all in and really taking the opportunity and seizing it.
I mean, do you think that it should want to be Netflix? Why does it have to be Netflix per se? I mean, doesn't it need all of the other elements to its portfolio in order to create the flywheel that makes that content more attractive to subscribers who probably also, by the way, have a Netflix subscription?
We did an analysis that looked at what were Disney's revenues. So if you look at Disney's movie revenues or the studio revenues that Disney creates, you could actually add both Disney Studio and Warner Brothers Studio, and Netflix is now generating greater revenue and is on its way shortly to generating more profit than those two businesses. And so I think the reality is when you look at the scale that subscription video on demand, SVOD, Netflix, when you look at the scale and the economics that brings you, there is a far greater kind of pot of gold on the other side moving to streaming than living in this world of first we put it out in theaters, then we put it out on DVD, and then it ends up in, HBO, streaming, whatever, in terms of that window. Just going full streaming. And, the reason I have my background today, I've got Simpsons, Mickey Mouse Club, and Moana behind me. Those are the trending titles on Disney Plus. Like, this is what Loeb is talking about. There's no new content on Disney Plus. They're not producing enough content. Those three shows have been like number one for almost the entire first year of Disney Plus. They need to get far more aggressive with the content they're spending on. I think moving movies, getting rid of windows and putting more movies like Black Widow, like they can really gun the movie side, but they also can just spend more money on TV shows and other forms of content as well.
So guys, now that we know that the problem right now is with the content that Disney is producing, there is something that I wanted to talk about with you guys is the amount of titles that Disney actually owns and how much content they can actually be producing. Because Disney at the moment owns a lot. They own the Walt Disney Animation Studios, Pixar Animation Studios, 20th Century Fox Animation, Marvel Animation Studios, and Lucasfilm Animations. They own so many different types of brands which are very popular, so they have a massive amount of content that they would be able to produce. And that is something that is a huge opportunity for them, which I definitely think that they should be focusing on more and more. But second to that, their consumer is a lot different than that of Netflix. Netflix is focused more on all types of different people that are streaming or that are watching episodes. And Disney actually has a very unique portfolio of clients, and those are kids. Kids are actually one of the best consumers out there. Just think about it for yourself. When you were watching movies when you were younger, I myself watched The Lion King maybe 30, 40, 50 different times, and I never got sick of it. I kept watching it over and over and over and over again. So the type of content that they make, for example with the Walt Disney Animation Studios, is content that can be reused and rewatched by families in particular, which is for Disney a huge opportunity to make a huge amount of content and keep kids engaged. Because as a parent, you want to have your kids engaged at all times. When you're working now in your house during this crisis and you have your kids watching, you don't want to be watching them on Netflix or on other aspects because that might not be safe. Whereas you have Disney titles, these are much safer titles to be watching, and that will be rewatched much easier. But let's say Disney does really double down on the content that they're producing. They have a huge opportunity to outgrow any of the other streaming services, in my opinion. And that's also one of the reasons why I have heavily invested into Disney overall. So I might be a little bit biased on that, but I do think it is a very big opportunity for Disney in general. So guys, that's what I want to be talking about in this video. I'm going to be adding some other videos right here. But if you like this content, subscribe to this channel and smash that like button, and let's stay tuned for the next video.